ఇంక చదవాలి మళ్ళీ కూర్చున్న వీడియోలు అన్ని కంప్లీట్ చేయాలి. నేనే ఇంకొక వీడియో కూడా చూడాలి.
All of you mute yourself first. Don't try to create any type of the disturbance. I think don't try to create any type of the disturbance. So we will start our class after a few minutes. Okay, thank you. Yeah, what's the problem of 28, Venkata Krishna? Tell me, what's your problem? So we can start our session if you are not having any type of the problems. Okay, in the last class, we are discussing about the first unit topics. So we are discussing about the quality attributes. So different types of quality attributes are we are already discussed. Those are nothing but system quality attributes. So business quality attributes, and another one is the architectural quality attributes. Okay, so now I try to share my screen. So I hope all of the members able to see the screen at the same time. Uh, able to are you? I think you are able to hear my voice. I'm right or not? So please tell me. Please respond anyone. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we can start our class. So in the last class, we are discussing about system quality attributes. So different types of system quality attributes are we are already discussed. So in the last class, so we try to discuss the next topics. So those are architectural styles and patterns. Okay, just wait 1 minute. Okay, so if you observe here, architectural patterns. An architectural pattern in software, also known as an architectural style, so is analogous to an architectural style in buildings such as Gothic or Greek, Revival or Queen Anne. So here, so architectural pattern at the same time architectural style is the same. Okay, it consists of few key features and rules for combining them. So architectural integrity is preserved. So an architectural pattern is determined by a set of element types such as data repository or component that computes mathematical function, a topological layout of the elements indicating their interrelationships. Okay, so nothing but here. So what we discuss now, so that is the architectural pattern. So what is the architectural pattern? So how we are arranging the architecture. So that will be specified by architectural pattern. Okay. So architectural pattern is nothing but set of elements. Okay. And so how we are arranging the type of the elements. So based upon the some constraints. At the same time, we are consider some of the things. So that is so data repository. Okay. Concurrency. So security like that. So different types of things are here we are consider when we are consider the architectural pattern or maybe the architectural style. If you observe here, a set of element types such as data repository or a component that computes mathematical function, a topological layout of the elements indicating their interrelationships. So the interrelationships between the modules also will be referred as an architectural pattern, a set of semantic constraints. So that is example. filters in a pipe and filter style and pure data transit users. They incrementally transform their input stream into output stream, but do not control either upstream or downstream elements. So that means here we are using some different types of constraints also. So for example, here we are consider the filters. What is the purpose of filter? So removing unnecessary thing and try to present which is required. So that means here we are able to identify, or maybe so it will be used for to performing the search also. So a set of interaction mechanisms, subroutine call, event subscriber, blackboard, so that determine how elements coordinate through the allowed topology. So that means in the case of software architecture, so in which type of we are arranging the elements, and so which type of constraints are associated with those type of elements, and these elements how they are interacted internally. So that will be also specified by using the architectural pattern. Okay, so if you observe here, independent components. So another one is the communication process, event systems, implicit invocation, explicit invocation. So data flow. So data flow is in two types. So that is batch, sequential, pipes and filters. So data centered, repository, blackboard. So virtual machine, interpreter, rule-based system. So another one is the caller written, main program and subroutine, object-oriented and layer. So that means here a small catalog of architectural patterns organized by relations. So according to that relation, so for example, maybe in some type of situations, maybe independent components may be organized as communicating processes or event systems. So in the case of event system, maybe we are implemented into the implicit invocation and another one is the explicit invocation. So in the same way, data flow is also maybe maintain the sequential or maybe using the pipes. Okay, so under data centered, so repository or maybe the blackboard. So in this type of way here, in the above figure, patterns are categorized into the related groups in an inheritance hierarchy. For example, event system is a substyle of independent elements. Event systems themselves have two subpatterns. So that means, so the above diagram representing the hierarchy. Okay, so what is the relationship between architectural patterns and tactics? As shown in earlier, we view tactic as a foundational building block of design from which architectural pattern and strategies are created. Okay, so if you observe here, architectural style. So architectural style is a very specific solution to a particular software, which typically focuses how to organize the code created for the software. So that means how we are creating the code. So that will be specified by using the architectural style. So it is the granularity of highest level that focuses on creating the layers and modules of the software and allowing an appropriate interaction between the various modules for giving the right results upon the implementation. So that means here, so how we are maintains the granularity, how we are maintain the relationship. So which type of elements are considered. So which type of relationship will be arranged between the modules. So these type of things are considered into the architectural styles. So if you are consider, there are various types of architectural styles. So those are, the first one is the data centric, and second one is the object oriented, and third one is the layered architectural pattern. So that means different types of styles are there. So here the style means in which type of we are constructing the software. So maybe some of the software architecture consists of maybe the procedure is like this. After log into the system, then only it will be displaying the structure. But in some type of softwares, so initially that will be appear to the user. So next we try to giving the username and password. So if you observe the Flipkart, so there is no need to give the username and password to book the so items. Am I right or not? So that means initially the user having the easier interaction to book the required items from the site. So that type of in that type of way, so we are using different types of styles and different types of architectures and different types of styles to interacting with the users. So if you are observe here, architectural styles here we are considered mainly four types of styles are considered. So those are not four types, sorry, data centric, object oriented, and another one is the layered. So if you are observing the data centric, so that means I think the name is implies. Here the data will be placed at the central. So centralized database is maintained and that will be shared by client and servers. So if you are observe here data repository and client software, client software, client software, client software. So that means whenever the client is need to retrieve the data, then he will be passing the information to the server. Then so that server will be maintained at the centralized. So that the data will be flows from centralized database to the required client. So that is data centric style. If you are observe here, as the name suggests, data centric architecture style has centralized data that is used by various components of the software, and these components access the data repositories of the software. The best example for such as an architecture style is the relational database system that follows database schema in which data stored in various tables inside the database is accessible by various components used in the software. So think about inventory management software with huge amount of data to handle. Typically, this type of business requirement would use the data centric style. So that means in the case of data centric style, the data will be maintained like as a centralized database. Then clients will be retrieving the required data. So whenever it is needed for to the client. Okay. So next one is the layered architectural style. So in the case of layered architecture, different types of layers are there. So that means initially clients can be accessed from one layer. So and the computation performed into the another layer. So next interfaces communicated with the in another layer. So in this type of different types of layers are maintained here. So if you observe here we are using 4 types of layers. So the first one is database layer, next persistence layer, next business layer, next next presentation layer. Okay, so in the case of presentation layer, I think the name is implies presentation layer means nothing but that is nothing but one of the interface to connecting the clients. So next business layer. So business layer performing the different types of activities according to the business. In the same way, persistence layer. So performing the computations, and the finally database layer. So the database layer will be responsible for to giving the so layered architecture style is also known as entire architecture style. It is one of the most common styles used in the software development life cycle. This style is divided into the hello, 28, 28. What's your problem? If you're having any type of the problem, please discuss with me. I think some of the members unmute. So the please try to mute yourself first. Don't try to create any type of the disturbance here. Okay. May I start my session? Okay, thank you. So if you observe here, in the case of layered architecture style, here we are consider the 4 types of layers. Okay, so this is also same like as entire architecture style. It is one of the most common styles used in the software development lifecycle. So this style is divided into the various horizontal layers, and each layer has some specific function. So generally, this architecture style has 4 layers. So namely presentation, business, persistence, and database, where each layer has a different functionality. So presentation layer deals with the user interface. The business layer is responsible for the various business rules and conditions. Persistence layer makes data accessible to the other layers, and the database layer stores and provides the data to the other components. I think the name is in place. So that means, so in the previous case, data is maintained at the centralized database, but in the case of this layered architecture, so here we are using different types of layers, and each and every layer having the specific functionality to performing the particular function. For example, maybe interfaces are maintained at one layer. So and another thing, so business deal by another layer, and next one maybe performing the computations. So the type of the computations maintained by one layer, and the finally data will be saved into the one layer. So in this type of here we are using different types of layers. Okay, large business organizations with the focus on user interface use this architecture style because of the layered approach. Different teams can be allotted to work on the different layers. So that means this type of approach is used for the large type of organization, large business organization. So and the next one is object-oriented architecture style. So we also know about what is the object-oriented architecture style. So that means here we are including object-oriented concepts. So what is the use of object-oriented concepts? We are using different types of the things. For example, maybe we are using inheritance. So we are using data abstraction, data encapsulation, polymorphism, so and runtime binding. So in this type of when we are based upon to the object oriented concepts, so then that type of the structure is having different from the parent class to the child class. So and the same type of method will be used for more than one thing. So in this type of here, when we are based upon the object oriented concepts, so then it will be then it will be reducing the complexity in front of the users. Okay, so if you observe here object oriented diagram, so object oriented architecture style, so testable, understandable, maintainable, reusable, robustness, extensible. So that means, so these type of properties are we are easily achieved when we are based upon the object oriented architecture style. So that means, so it will be giving the property for reusability. So that means, so we need not to write new things, so just we try to reuse the previous thing for to performing the current operation. So in the same thing, maintainable, understandable, testable, extensible, robustness. So that means maintains the security. So if you observe here, object oriented architecture is an important concept for developing the software. It is a design paradigm based on the division of responsibilities for application or system into individual reusable and self-sufficient objects. The popular approach of object oriented design is to view software system as a collection of entities known as objects. So object oriented design is to view software system as collection of entities. So and these are will be referred as an objects. Object oriented is based upon to the modeling real world objects. So what are the advantages of object oriented architecture? So we also know about this, just to try to read once. So object oriented architecture maps the application to real world objects for making it more understandable. So that means reduce answer easily. Easily we are we try to giving the easily to the users. So it is easy to maintain and improves the quality of the system due to the program we use. The architecture provides reusability through polymorphism, and another one is the abstraction. So it has the ability to manage errors during the execution. It has the ability to extend new functionality and does not affect on the system. It improves the testability through encapsulation. Object-oriented architecture reduce the development and time and cost. So that means, for example, maybe if any errors are occur during the execution of the program, those are also we are easily handled. So and it will be reducing the time to developing the new things. So these are the advantages of object-oriented architectural styles. So that means up to now we are discussing about three types of architectural styles and patterns. So those are the first one is the data-centric. So and second one is the layered architecture, and third one is the object-oriented architectural style. So architecture in the life cycle, evaluation, delivery life cycle. So if you observe here, so this is nothing but how we are developing the software from the starting step to the last step. So initially we are gathering some requirements. According to that requirements, we are able to design. So according to our goals. So next, it will be start the implementation. So that is nothing but coding. Next, we try to performing the some test. So whether we are meets uh, the particular goals or not. So our estimations are not. Next, finally we are going for to the maintenance phase. So in the same way, here also we are consider different types of phases. So the first one is the software concept, preliminary requirement analysis, design of architecture system core, develop a version, incorporate customer feedback, elicit customer feedback, deliver the version, and deliver final version. So that means if you observe here, so the first step is software concept, second thing is the requirement analysis, and third thing is this design. Next to start the design. So that means here we have start the coding. So next deliver the version and receiving the feedback from the customer. So and that will be sent to the again coding. So that means each and every time verify so whether it is meets the customer requirements or not. If it is not, then repeating the same process. Otherwise, deliver the final version. So that will be, that procedure will be completely referred as evaluation delivery life cycle. Okay, so and the next one is attribute driven design. So attribute driven design. So this is also referred as an ADD. So ADD is an approach to defining a software architecture. So that basis the decomposition process on the quality attributes of the software has to fulfill. So that means here we are the quality of the attributes. Okay, so quality attributes. So that means here we are performing the decomposition on the quality attributes. Okay, so whether it is meets the its full functionality or not. So that will be verified by using the ADD. It is a recursive decomposition process where at each stage tactics and architectural patterns are chosen to satisfy a set of quality scenarios, and then functionality is allocated to instantiate the module types provided by the pattern. So the output of ADD is the first several levels of module decomposition view of an architecture, other views as appropriate. So the input of ADD is a set of requirements. So ADD assumes functional requirements typically expressed as use cases and constraints, input and other design methods. ADD mandates the quality requirements be expressed as set of system specific quality scenarios. Functional requirements, constraints, and quality scenarios are the architectural drivers. So that means here we are giving some set of requirements as the input for to the ADD. Next, it will be performing the attribute driven design. So that means here we are performing the decomposition on the quality attributes and verify so whether those type of attributes has to meet the requirements of the users or not. So if it is not, then we try to recover that. So how we are identify, or maybe how we are performing the decomposition. So what are the steps of ADD? So choose the module to decompose. So which type of module to performing the decomposition? So that will be, first of all, we try to select. For example, maybe, so we are performing some computation is there. So the type of the module will be divided into the some other submodules. So again, the type of the module also divided into the some other submodules. So now verify so whether the submodules are working properly or not. Okay, refine the module according to these steps. So that means performing the refining. Refining means here we are identifying the errors. If any errors are there, then we try to recover the errors, and we try to maintain the module according to the requirements of user. So here we are using some steps. So choose the architectural drivers from the set of concrete quality of scenarios and functional requirements. So and second thing is choose an architectural pattern that satisfies the architectural drivers. So and the third one is instantiate modules and allocate functionality from the use cases and represent using multiple views. Define interfaces and verify and refine use cases. So that means completely here in the first case, we are identify which type of modules to be performing the decomposition. And second thing here, we try to identify the errors. So which type of modules are not working properly. So those type of modules are recovered. So next, third one, repeat the steps above for every module that needs further decomposition. So that means if any time of the situation, so again, if we want to performing the decomposition again, then we need to perform in the decomposition. So nothing but dividing the some single module into the smaller modules. So forming the team structure, organizing the team structure to mirror architecture structure modules. So assign the team members according to their expertise on development of the module that is assigned to the team. Finally, creating the skeletal system. So once architecture is sufficiently designed and teams are in place to begin building into its skeletal systems, so can be constructed. The idea at this stage is to provide underlying capability to implement systems functionality and other advantages to the project. So that means in this type of way here, in this type of way here, we are using attribute driven design to verifying the quality of the attributes. So different types of steps are there. First of all, we try to which type of modules are to performing the decomposition. Second, we are refine, and third one we are assign some teams. And finally, here in the fourth step, so here identify creating skilled assistants. So nothing but we try to arrange the type of the modules into a original structure. So and the next topic is documenting the software architecture. So documenting the software architecture means here we should be giving the documentation after the completion of the software, and whenever it is reached to the end user, definitely we will give the documentation. Why? Because the documentation will be helpful to recover errors so which are occurred at runtime. So that means why this is very important step. And another thing is, so there is no possibility each and every time developer is available to the end user at each and every time of the situation, but documentation is available at any time. So if any errors are there, so then he is verified into the documentation in which type of a those type of errors are recovered. So for example, if any type of, if any other type of the situation is occurred, so some errors are occurred, then how to we are recover. So all these things are here we are verified into the documenting the architecture. Okay. For example, if you observe here, documentation speaks for the architect. It speaks for the architect today. So when the architect should be doing other things besides answering the 100 questions about the architecture. So and it speaks for the architecture tomorrow. So when he or she has left the project and now someone else is charge of evaluation and maintenance. So that means so each and every day documentation will be speaks with the end user. So that is will be maintains the good interaction with the end user. For example, if any time of the errors are occur, so those are also easily recovered by using the documentation. Am I right or not? So fundamentally, architectural documentation has three uses. Mainly consider three uses here. So those are architectural documentation serves as a means of education. So it will be giving the good knowledge about the software. The educational use consists of introducing the pupil to the system. The pupil may be new members of the team, external analysts, or even new architect. In many cases, the new person is the customer to whom you are showing your solution the first time. A presentation you hope will result funding or go ahead approval. So that means, so this documentation will be giving the good knowledge about the software. So even though it is a new member, in some type of situations, we are assigned some new members. So at that time of the situation, so this type of documentation will be giving the total amount of knowledge. Okay. And second thing is architecture documentation serves as a primary vehicle for communication among the stakeholders. And architecture precise use a communication vehicle depends upon stakeholders are doing the communicating. So that means it will be providing the between the end users or maybe the stakeholders. So that means it will be giving the how to we are communicating with the stakeholders. What is the best way? So and third one is architecture documentation serves as the basics for the system analysis and construction. So architecture tells implements what's to implement. So each module has interfaces that must be provided and use interfaces from other modules. Not only does this provide instructions about the provided and user interfaces, so but it is also determines with the what other teams development team for the modules must communicate. So that means in the documentation, so every total details are maintained about the software. So then end users easily maintain that software without occurring any type of the problems. So that's the main thing. So reconstructing the software architecture, I think the name is implies. So here we are reconstructing the software architecture. So when we are need to performing the reconstruction, so if any type of the errors are occurred in the previous case, so those type of errors are recovered in the reconstruction. So architecture reconstruction is an interactive and iterative process involving many activities. It is not an automatic. It requires the skills and attention of both the reverse engineering and expert the architect. So are someone who has substantial knowledge of the architecture, largely because architectural constructs are not represented explicitly in the source of code. So that means, so when we are based upon the reconstructing of the architecture, so it is also referred as an reverse engineering. So why we need to maintain the reverse engineering? So that means initially, so we are developing some software. So our main goal is meet the exact requirements of the customer. So that is the actual process. But even though we are developing the software, so for example, if any time of the situation, maybe the type of the software goals are not meets the estimation of the requirements of the user. So at the time of the situation, according to the user requirements, again we try to back the repeat the procedure from the starting onwards, or maybe in the reverse order, in which module we are facing problem. So that will be identified here. So that type of the procedure completely referred as an reverse engineering. Okay. So this is nothing but an interpretive, an interactive, and iterative process. Okay. It requires the skills and attention both the reverse engineering and expert the architects. Okay, there is no programming language construct for layer or connector or other architectural elements that we can easily pick out a source of code architectural pattern if used seldom labeled. So that means here we are repeating the procedure until satisfying the requirements of the user. So when a system is initially developed as high level design, architectural elements are mapped to implementation elements. Therefore, when we construct those elements, we need to apply the inverse of the mappings. Okay, so in this type of way we are performing the reconstruction. So up to now we are discussing about different types of styles and patterns, and another one documenting the architecture, and another one is the reconstructing the architecture. Okay, if you having any type of the doubts you can ask me. So actually that is the, so we are already discussed this topic, so that's why I'm not try to elaborate the topic, just I'm giving the idea about that topic only. So which are important, only the that type of the points only discussed in the session. Why? Because so there is no need to repeat that thing. Okay, so if you're having any type of the doubts you can ask me, otherwise we can end the session. Okay, Srinivas sir. And another thing, we are having the another class tomorrow afternoon session. Please remember this. So we are also having the another session in the tomorrow afternoon from 1:50 to 2:40. Please remember this. I will create one link. No problem. So actually we are having only Monday to Thursday, but for some reasons I'm taking the extra class. Okay, please remember this. If you're having any type of the doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can end the session. Srinivas sir. Srinivas sir. Okay, some of the members not submitting the assignment up to now. So I try to repeat the same thing number of times. I don't know why the members are not responded. Okay, may I end the session? Thank you, Ananda.